All right, everyone. So this is a sequence to stabilize your shoulder girdle. Now that we went through compression and length techniques of the upper body, now we can also add some stabilization. So why do we do compression or length techniques first? We do them first so that our tissue is healthy and hydrated, so that the neural pathways that go through the tissue, that talk to your muscles, and basically are in charge of the correct timing and control of in which order your muscles will engage when you're moving and when you're also stable, then these neural pathways can actually work. If the tissue is dehydrated, if you're stuck in any way from scar tissue, injuries, just patterns of compensation, good luck with trying to establish new neural pathways. It's not efficient at all. It can take you forever, and all you're doing oftentimes with exercises is strengthening the pathway that got you into the trouble of the injury or surgery in the first place. So that's why we hydrate first, and that's why we also stabilize through the core first. So when we're stabilizing through the core, in our rebalance sequence on the lengthwise roller, it creates a connection from your brain to your center of gravity rested in your pelvis, so that your body, when you're starting moving, your body is organizing around the center of gravity. If you watch an animal run along like a leopard or something, you can actually see them if they run. The head and their center of gravity is completely still. They could be moving on a track, and you see their limbs just flying, and they look beautiful, and they're just smooth. And that's what ideally our body would look like too, but we just lose that over time because of our lives that we live and how we live them mostly. So a little bit of anatomy again. I guess that's in this upper body sequence. I explained to you how the shoulder blades, the inner edge of the shoulder blades, outer edges of the shoulder blades, collarbones, right? That is part of your shoulder girdle. Collarbones, the arm bone where it meets your scapula, that's your shoulder blade. Shoulder blade you can see is here outlined. And then that's the inner edge of my shoulder blade, and the outer edge just comes up here. It looks a little bit like Africa, I would say. And so our shoulder blades, they can do motions. They can glide really close to the spine. They can go out to the side. And a little bit, we have that same capacity up here in the collarbones. But the collarbones here, they can be narrow. And when they are narrow, what happens is they're more at an angle like this. And when they're wide, then this levels out a little bit more, and we have more of a level collarbone. And that's ideal for when we're moving, right? Because I see a lot of people in my practice, 80% of them are more here. That's where they are. And the problem is, as I explained in our other video already, that it's not your shoulders that you need to pull back, but you need to lift your collarbones up. So once we are in that position, and when we're working with the roller and laying on the lengthwise roller, that supports you in that. Because when you're laying on the roller, your shoulder blades are off the floor. They're not laying on something. So there's a lot of freedom in there, and I can glide everything. So the movement that you really want to cultivate is actually one that is a widening of your shoulder away from the base of the neck. And you can see that I'm doing that here right now. So what I'm thinking of when I'm doing that is I have a friend next to me, and I'm going, hey, did you see that? It's almost like you're nudging someone. Yeah. So when I come up a little bit, you can see how this is getting wider, my shoulder here, this place. And I can do that on the other side a little bit, but not as well because I have a separated shoulder joint. So when you're practicing it, it's actually nice to come here first and notice that my elbows are a little bit in front of my torso here. Yeah, I'm not out here to the side. I'm a little bit in front. Reasoning is when you're widening, the shoulder blades glide around the rib cage, and the rib cage, the ribs are rounded, and so you need to keep that in mind. And the elbows glide out in a way, so we can do that together. So on your inhale, you're gonna inhale and reach the elbows out wide, and notice how you're now much wider. Notice how that creates freedom from the base of the neck. Your neck can relax more, and then you let everything relax. So do that a few times with me, please. So inhaling, reaching out, and on the exhale, letting that go. Now, as you're doing it the next time, find your breath, inhaling first, and on the exhale, letting it go. Really breathing down into the belly, up into the chest. And when you breathe down into the belly and up into the chest at the same time, engages your core a little bit, so that we are not arching our spine. Yeah. Right now we're just doing that in seated, and then we're going to do the same thing on the roller. So just look what that looks like. You can see here my shoulder blade is going wide and my arm bones. So I'm not muscling it. I'm not doing something and my muscles engage and I get all tight. I'm actually finding my bones and let my bones reach, and I let everything glide. So muscles, keep them out of this. Then I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how your shoulder joint functions and how rotation in the arms function, so that it's easier for you to understand what this is all about. The movements we're going to be doing are called arm rotations. And I'm going to show it to you first in seated, and then we're going to go into a practice where you come on your lengthwise roller. So I'm going to move back a little bit that you can see my arms. And I'm going to show you on one arm what it looks like. You can do it with both arms. And what it looks like is that you're bringing your arm out to the side. I'm going to have to step back here. So here you can see my palm. You can see my shoulder. And you have rotation in the shoulder joint, and you also have rotation in the forearm. So let's see what it looks like when I just rotate my forearm. So nothing is happening in my upper arm, and do that with me. And you can do it on both sides. I'm just holding my upper arm to show you this is not rotating, but I can rotate my palm. So I can bring it down to the floor and even pointing back, thumb points down, and then I can have this rotation. So now, what you also have, your body is a cool instrument, right? You can rotate from your shoulder, and now you have a lot more range. So see how my entire arm rotated? You can even see my muscle engage up here. Or you could rotate, this is external rotation, where now your biceps muscle is facing back, and that brings the shoulder away from your ear. Remember that. That is your optimal position. So again, let's try that from your shoulder. Rolling the arm in, and then rolling the arm out. Rolling the arm in, and rolling the arm out. So notice what that feels like. So here it's in your shoulder. And if you have pain here, go back to length techniques first. Don't do that quite yet. And then come back to this. And then you can also see how that isolates. Okay, this is really important because the arm rotations are something where we're working in one direction when we're rotating into being nice and open. We're rotating from the shoulders first. So it looks like this. And then we're rotating back just from the forearm, keeping the shoulder. So what I can do, watch this, I can rotate back. And I can turn also my forearm into that shape, and then I slowly can rotate just my forearm back, but my shoulder stays where it is. Okay, so before you get all tired out now, playing with this, and that might be enough for you, and you can stop right here. But ideally, so what you have done so far is either the compression or the length, Do the one that is easier for you, and then you would add the arm rotations to it. And the arm rotations are starting right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to come into a position on your roller where you are on the lengthwise roller. So my lengthwise roller, just like always, I'm going to bring it behind me, and my head and my sacrum are fully connected, and I'm laying down on my roller right now. Yeah, your bird's eye view for you right now. We're always doing a little bit of tipping left and right with our roller. So here I'm just tipping, and you can really see here that everything is tipping together. My sternum, my tip of the nose, my ribs, everything is going together. So now I'm coming back to center. So now that I'm in center, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also connect with my breath a little bit and my tuck and tilt. Because when we start moving here in the arms, we want to keep our pelvis connected and stable. So you're going to find an inhale with me. You can bring your hands on your pelvis or even point the heels of the hands on the pelvis. And on the exhale, you're going to tuck. And you can see what happens. My thumbs are really sinking into my belly. I feel more flat on my roller. And then I'm going to inhale here, nice and tall through the top of the head. On my next exhale, I keep my ribs where they are, and I'm going to tilt. So you can see my fingertips down here. They're going to go away from my navel. And then inhale here, and on your exhale, you're going to tuck. So your pubic bone comes up again, and then inhale here and exhale, you're going to find a tilt. And then you're going to come to a neutral position. And 2 times in your neutral position, you're just going to find a nice 3-dimensional inhale, depth, width, and length, and making your sounds or sh or really feel how your lower belly engages right in this area. Inhale again. Feeling that nice connection. Make sure you're not tucking your pelvis when you're exhaling. That's really important. You're staying in neutral. So now we are ready to do our part of the arm rotations. And it looks like this. So I invite you to bring your arms just out to the side for a moment. And you want to notice that my palms are at my shoulder level, right? I'm at T position. That's different from our double arm reach where our arms are down here. And when my arms up here, they're fairly straight out. My palms are a little bit in front of my torso. Your feet are stabilizing yourself on the floor, and the pelvis is neutral. Core is engaged because you don't want to have your ribs come off the roller here. So now what I want is I'm going to turn from my shoulders. Notice how my shoulders creep up a little bit towards my ears, and I collapse my torso a little bit. You want to turn your palms down to the floor. Looks like this. So the back of the palms are towards the ceiling. Then you're going to find an inhale. On your exhale, you're going to find your core. You're going to reach your arms wide. See how my shoulder blades and collarbones are wide? Now you're going to grip the bottom corners of your shoulder blades a little bit onto the roller as you're keeping your arms reaching wide. And on your next exhale, the backs of the hands come towards each other. But do not let go of the roller with your shoulder blades. So this is how far I can come for me today. You might be out here. Some of you might be able to come here. If I come here, my shoulder blades come off the roller, so I can't come there yet. I don't have that range. I'm here today. Drawing the shoulders down and shoulder blades down into your back pockets and keep them there. And we're going to slowly come back out. Look at my shoulders. I'm going to turn my arms 90 degrees, so my thumbs are now up towards the ceiling. And what that means is that I did that for my shoulders, not for my forearms, right? Look at that again. From here, I come here. My shoulder blades are drawing down, my ribs are heavy, core engaged. Inhale here. On the exhale, arms nice and wide, shoulder blades stay at the roller, thumbs come towards each other. Inhale here. Don't let your collarbones narrow like this. Keep your shoulder blades around the roller, collarbones wide, and on the exhale, you're going to come back. Inhale, and on your next exhale, you can even lift your shoulders a little bit up and rotate them so the palms are facing towards the ceiling. And you can feel your sternum also lifts with that, but don't let your ribs come up. Inhale again, reach wide. On the exhale, keep your core engaged. Palms come towards each other. Don't let the shoulder blades come off the roller. And you might not go as far, just don't do it. And on the exhale, you keep your reach wide and come back out. One last time, inhale here. You're externally rotating again, and your biceps are now facing towards the wall above your head. And then inhale, reach wide, and on the exhale, pinky fingers come towards each other. But careful, the shoulder blades need to stay a little bit at the roller, collarbones wide. And on the exhale, you're going to come out. So you're going to keep your shoulder blades in that position. You're going to keep your sternum lifted. Inhale here. On your exhale, you're going to just from your forearms, look at my shoulders so I don't do anything. I'm going to turn now at a 90-degree angle. Now my palms are up towards the ceiling. Inhale here, wide. Exhale. Shoulder blades stay at the roller, collarbones wide. Core is engaged, open. Inhale here and just your forearms, shoulders stay where they are. Thumbs turn towards the ceiling. Inhale here. Are you still reaching wide? On the exhale, shoulder blades stay at the roller. Thumbs come towards each other, and then you're going to open again. Last one. Inhale here, reach wide. Just from the forearms, turn your thumbs. Turn your palms towards the floor. Inhale again. And then exhale. And coming back out. And then relax down. That's a lot of work in your shoulders. The shoulder joints should feel like they're on fire. Possibly also some work in your upper back. And if you did that correctly now, you want to actually add a little bit of rinsing. You all know the rinsing for the upper back, so add that to this, where you have the roller at the very top, and 3-4 times just steamroll slowly down the back, quickly return to the top, steamroll down the back, quickly return to the top, and then come to the floor again. So I asked you to do a sequence beforehand, so either the compression of your upper back or the length techniques from the upper body part 3 sequences. And so you did already a rest assess in the beginning and a rest reassess after that sequence that you chose, and now you added this. So now after you rinsed, you also do a rest reassess. So I'm going to walk you through it. So come to lay on your floor, arms and legs extended again, and notice what it feels like. What do you feel in your shoulder girdle, meaning in your shoulder blades, namely? So ideally, when you're rested here, it feels like your shoulder blades are non-existing. They have so settled onto the back of the ribs that now you feel they are nicely and smoothly kind of just part of that whole upper torso. So feel that. Also, your arms ideally feel like they are very relaxed on the floor. They have nice openness towards the ceiling if you did it correctly. And your ribs just below your shoulder blades are still connected into the floor. Now, if you did something wonky or wrong, it feels to you like your ribs are lifted more beneath the shoulder blades. You are not engaging your core when you're doing the arm rotations, and you really want to go back to the arm length moves. Probably add a rebalance sequence first, then do your arm length moves Do that 3 times for the next week, then go back to maybe doing upper body compression and just doing the arm rotations. So also, if you feel like when you let your head roll left and right, there's a lot of tension, then you are someone, when you're moving your arms, you are doing this. So when you're laying on the lengthwise roller, your whole shoulder girdle, see my shoulder girdle? It creeps up my neck and my shoulders up at my ears. It's your entire shoulder girdle moving up, and you're getting all tight through the neck muscles. The neck muscles are not made to carry your shoulder girdle. The shoulder girdle should be rested on the ribs. So the ribs have to be steady, the spine has to be steady, and your shoulder girdle is just sitting there like a yoke on top. So ideally, also further down in our assessment here, the low back curve is nicely in the low back. You nicely feel that your glutes are relaxed, and that's a biggie. So if you feel like your glutes are kind of tense now, or you're more on your sacrum, that's a huge sign that you're trying to move your arms from your butt. So does that work well? Probably not. So when you do this sequence the next time, really make sure that you are rested in your roller. You're just putting way too much effort into it. And let's more connect with like that sense of feeling the fascia just by this little reach. You can see there's this little reach, and when I reach, my tissue tensions like cables, and now my joints are supported. Now my little stabilizer muscles can really work. And what this is for is to get your stabilizing muscles of your rotator cuff firing first, and then we're moving the arm. So in every movement you do, if you are someone that just moves from the big muscles, that's a rotator cuff tear to happen. So we want to really stabilize our shoulders, the shoulder muscles that are all around the joint itself, right? So that these muscles that get tight when you're doing this external rotation, or your muscles up here, and then there's some that support from down here. So I hope you enjoy the sequence. This video, of course, a lot longer than when you're doing it. It takes 5 to 8 minutes, max. After you do upper body sequence, so the whole sequence should take you, once you have the sequences down, maybe 15 minutes or so. Yeah, and you just pick and choose what works for you. And I hope that this series was a big learning curve for you, and that you also had the chance to go a little bit into depth and just improve your practice. And that will show when we get back into our in-person classes in November. Thanks you all, and happy melting.